Here's the deal. Are you ready? Your ego wants 3 things, and you got to give your ego these 3 things when you're getting out of a narcissistically abusive relationship so you can move forward with your life. Your ego wants to be right, your ego wants to win, and your ego wants to be in control. So here's how you do it. 1, you take control back by going no contact. When you go no contact, you are taking your power back. You are taking control back of the situation. It is the only power and control you have over that situation. If you do not allow that person back in, you don't allow them to hoover, you don't reach out yourself, you don't respond to any kind of attempts that they have to pull your heartstrings and everything again, you go no contact. That means you don't go to their Facebook page and stalk it. It means you don't go to their Instagram and stalk it. It means you don't go to their Snapchat and stalk their page. You cut it all off. Okay, you take control back by going no contact. That's how you give your ego control. Number 2, your ego wants to be right. Your ego is gonna want that person to admit what they did wrong to you. Your ego is gonna want to hear the apology. Your ego is gonna want to hear them say that they're sorry. You are never gonna get that. They don't do that. Narcissists do not say they're sorry. Narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths do not own what they did wrong. They don't own their self-responsibility. They do not take accountability for their actions. The only time you will ever get an I'm sorry or an apology from them is if they can swing it back and blame you for what they did. Okay, if they can blame you, you said this, so they did that. You did this, so they did that. Maybe you're not putting out in bed the way they wanted, so they justify their affair, right? These kinds of things. So they will always do this. You didn't give them what they wanted. You didn't submit to their abuse, so they went ahead and found someone else who would be willing to submit to their abuse. Okay, so your ego is gonna wanna be right. You're gonna have to tell your ego that you are right. You are right to leave that person. You are right that that is an abusive situation. You are right that you deserve better than that, and you do not need to go back to that. You need to give yourself that validation. You need to give yourself that permission, and you need to stop looking for it from that person. You need to stop looking from the new person in their life, right? From the new target, from the new source of supply, because that person is going to be smug right now. That person's going to be smitten. They're in the idealization phase. They don't want to face the truth. They don't want to hear your truth. They're not going to help you. They're just going to make it worse if you try to reach out and tell them the reality, or you try to get them to validate your reality. Just don't do it. You have to give yourself that validation. You have to give yourself permission to say, I'm right. I was in an abusive situation. I'm right. I deserve better than that. I'm right. I don't have to have any contact with that person. I don't owe that person anything more. That person might have taken everything from you. You might have lost almost everything except for your health and your sanity, right? And that's the 3rd thing. You won. Okay, if you got out of that relationship, if you got away from that person, if you got out of there with your health and your sanity intact, you won. That is the win. Getting out is the win. No matter how much else you lost in the process, you won because you got out and you get to start your life over. So let that really sink in. You take control through no contact. You know that you're right by giving yourself that validation and giving yourself that permission. And you know that you won because you got out and you got to move forward with your life. You got to start your life over no matter how old you were, no matter how long you invested in that relationship. You got out with your health and sanity. You're winning. So convince your ego of that. You got to give your ego that. Otherwise, your ego is going to find reasons to go back and have more contact with that person, hoping and praying that they're going to realize what they did wrong, hoping and praying they're going to tell you they're sorry, hoping and praying that they're going to change, and none of that's going to happen. So you need to rewire the thinking in your ego, and you need to concede these 3 things to your ego. You won, you're in control, and you're right. I just wanted to put that out there for you guys. Really let that sink in there, because I know a lot of you are getting contacted right now. A lot of you are feeling like you want to reach out and contact right now. Let those 3 things sink in so you can let your ego off the hook.